Aviation is incredibly important to our global economy. In 2018, planes carried 4.4 billion people and 63 tons of freight around the world. The aviation industry is a top 10 global emitter. It represents 2% of global CO2 emissions, but contributes to about 5% of net warming due to the emission of other greenhouse gases. If the aviation industry were a country, it would rank 20th in the world for GDP, which is larger than several members of the G20. To curb emissions, in 2016, the International Aviation Organization established CORSIA, an industry-wide mitigation policy. It created a carbon credit trading system to help airlines offset their emissions. This regulation, however, is currently only voluntary. Other policies promoting the mitigation of aircraft emissions are few and far between. To seriously address global warming, aviation emissions must be decreased dramatically. Air travel is expected to triple by the year 2050. Simultaneously, if the aviation industry continues on its forecasted emissions pathway, emissions from the travel industry alone in 2050 are predicted to surpass the entire global carbon dioxide budget, meant to limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Because carbon dioxide from international aviation is not emitted within the borders of any one country, its emissions are not part of negotiations under the aegis of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. To reach the aviation industry's goal of bringing CO2 emissions down to half of their 2005 levels by 2050, emission reduction measures will need to be holistic and comprehensive. To combat climate change in the future, governments may choose to levy higher taxes on air travel or force airliners to purchase carbon offsets. New technologies can also help with the reduction of emissions. More efficient engines, biofuels, and even solar-powered planes can be the keys to a greener future of flying. The sustainable future of the world's aviation industry is currently being debated at the UN's 25th Conference of Parties in Madrid.
Implementation of the climate agreement on international aviation would have been easier if COP25 finalized the rules for international cooperation on mitigating climate change, known as Article 6 negotiations. Not having these rules in place will delay climate change action or lead to a partly nationalizing the International Aviation Climate Agreement. Clear rules on international collaboration opens doors for cost-effective approaches for climate action, with benefits reaching beyond the aviation sector. Although Article 6 will be open for debate once again for the 26th Conference of the Parties, and so we're looking forward to seeing these carbon market infrastructure come into play in the future of sustainable aviation.